Welcome to the EchoCast, episode 101. This is a podcast about the Division 2, its community, news, speculation, and updates. I am Bond Diesel. I do Division stuff such as this podcast, Twitch streams, and YouTube videos about Division 2. Today we will do a state of the game recap, Division 2 news and speculation, some community topics, listener questions, and then we'll start off with some content updates. But first, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for this month: Hassan, Christian, Darren, Justin, Tim, PK, DJ, Jimmy, Benny, and Tony. If you'd like to support the podcast and my other content, check out patreon.com/theechocast. If we hit a goal of 15 patrons, I will remove the mid-roll ad from this show. Okay, so a quick content update. Next week on the 3rd, I will be taking the day off and streaming the Warlords of New York update basically all day. I'll probably take a break to eat some lunch, relax a little bit, maybe take a little nap, but I plan on playing as much of it as I can. I certainly hope I can't finish the whole thing. So check me out on twitch.tv/BondDiesel. I'm going to try to get a hold of people to maybe get some codes to give away or something. We'll have to see what happens there, but come and check me out. I'll be on. Okay, so state of the game recap. This week we had Hamish, Yannick, and Trick detailing the season system and some other info. They went over some priority alerts that went over fixing a level 30 boost to prevent exploitation. They talked about the free weekend that's coming this weekend. Exclusive cosmetic that you can get for logging on sometime this weekend between Thursday and Sunday, and that they clarified that there's no exact release day or release time for Warlords. It's coming out on Tuesday. If it's like all of the other updates, they'll shut down the servers around like 3 a.m. Eastern time in the US, and hopefully they come back up around 6 or 7. Okay, then they talked about completing the Keener. After you complete the Keener storyline, that's when the SHD levels and the season system will come up. They did clarify and make sure people understand that the seasons only unlock when you hit level 40, which, if you do the math, that means that you have to have the Warlords expansion to get seasons. There's a bunch of Title Update 8 that will come to everyone. There's a good chunk of it that won't, so keep that in mind. First, they talked a bit about like the bounties or manhunt that will happen every season. There's going to be some big baddie that you'll go after every season, which it lasts about 3 months. You'll take down 4 of their lieutenants and then go after them. It seems like they are going to use. It seems like it kind of mirrors what the Warlord story mode and how it's going to work, where we have to kill these 4 agents, these rogue agents, and then we get to go after Keener. And then after you go after the 4 lieutenants, you fight the big one. And they've clarified that these the main bad guys in these seasonal manhunts will have some type of skill mod. So it seems like they'll be kind of slowly adding skills as the game goes on. They talked about the seasonal rewards, which the best way to describe it is like a battle pass. If you've played any of Call of Duty or Fortnite or any of Apex Legends, they're implementing a system similar to that. I think Destiny 2 has it as well. They said that there will be a paid version of the rewards that just gives you some extra stuff, but everything comes in the free one. And then the paid one just gets like extra. So it's not like that you get, there's not going to be like a God Roll AR that comes in the paid version that free people can't get. They also clarified that if you get Warlords, you get the first season for free. So the premium pass you get for free. They said in the following seasons, when you do have to pay for it, it's only going to be about $10 if you want to do it. So for me, it's going to be a matter of seeing if the first one feels worth it and then going from there. They did say part of the seasonal rewards for the first season that's coming. There's going to be gear sets that come with the different seasons, and in the first season, one of the sets that you'll be getting is the Striker gear set. It returns. It's very different though, and we can chat about that in a moment. They also pointed out that there are 100 levels for each season, so there's a lot of rewards that you can go after, it seems like. They talked a bit about the global events, and that those do return. You can turn them off or on, but when they're on, they actually have their own kind of reward track that you can go down and get some cool new stuff and stuff that you have to unlock and kind of grind for. In the global events, like the first one is going to be a system where your arm will have like a glowing, I think it was green or yellow, I can't remember now, blue or yellow. I think it's blue or yellow. And you'll glow one color, and the enemies will have an indicator that's blue or yellow. And when you are the same color as an enemy, you'll do extra damage to them. When you reload, you switch, and then you can shoot the enemies who are the other color. You can change the enemy's colors by punching them, by meleeing them. And if you shoot the wrong color too much, you'll actually get punished in various ways. So this first one sounds really cool, and a bunch of the rewards for it look kind of fun to go after. And then the kind of final thing they went over was leagues. They're the leagues are interesting. So it's more of like a reward track as well. It's another one, and it's more about like accomplishments. So some of them look like they're for killing so many enemies of a certain faction, or for completing missions in a certain amount of time. And so it seems like it's almost, I believe it's going to have like leaderboards and be like borderline competitive too. So that's something to consider. And that was about it. There was some more stuff. I do suggest this was actually a pretty good show to watch. They went way over. It went for like an hour and a half. So if you want to get every single detail and see, they showed a bunch of screenshots of this stuff, and it's definitely worth looking at. Going back, that level 30 boost exploit, I remember seeing that on Reddit. I did notice that there were some of the more salty, toxic people who I thought deleted the game. I thought they uninstalled a long time ago. Talking about how they got rid of that exploit in a week or two, but there's some issues with PvP and stuff that because they fixed one means that they should have fixed the other two. Completely ignoring that there's obviously different teams that work on these things and that fix different things, and some issues take longer to fix than others, and some issues have priority over others. And sometimes you would think people would know that because they are deeply involved in the game, but I guess not. Memories are short-lived, I guess. When it comes to everything else, though, I mean, this all sounds so cool. It's, as I was watching this and trying to tweet it out, because I do live tweets about these, I was watching this and being like, oh my God, like I'm not gonna finish any of these. I just don't have time to play that much. And that's awesome. Because that means, like right now when I log on, there's some stuff for me to do. But over the last year, there's been multiple times I've logged on to this game and had nothing to do other than just take some screenshots or maybe farm for something I kind of want, but not really. What's cool about this update is that, having a big story drop is a big deal. We've never had that before in Division. But then what happens after you finish that story, there's just so much. And something that people have always wanted is to have more to do, always. I mean, maybe there's people who are gonna farm all this stuff out in a month and then they'll complain that they're bored, but I really think with what they're presenting, I think it's gonna be really difficult to try to pretend like this isn't an insane amount of content. Now, the one key word I've seen people already bringing up is replayable content. I've already seen people saying, jump on that train already. That this doesn't seem like it's replayable content. You're right, it doesn't. This does not seem replayable on its own. But the things that you need to do to unlock these levels and stuff, I mean, you'll get to do it however you want. If you want to run, normal level enemies with no modifiers and nothing special, no global event, you can do it. If you want to have every single modifier on heroic through the entire open world and have the global event active and whatever, then you can do that too. And I think that the replayability of this is going to come from the choice that the player gets to make, which I think is awesome. That's perfect in my opinion. So, yeah, I think that, I mean, I can already hear it now. There's some particular people who I know are going to bite onto this seasonal reward, the paid version or the free version. I mean, I think it's fine. This is a very standard battle pass. I've not seen people complain about it before, even in paid games like The Division. So I think it's a fine system. The one thing they did point out is that towards the end of each season, so out of the 3 months, they didn't give an exact date. I suspect the last month or maybe the last couple of weeks, there will be an ability that, say, out of the 100 levels, you get to level 70. But there's only a couple days left. You can't reach those last 30 levels. There is going to be an ability to purchase the rest of those levels and get those rewards. So I don't know. That seems fine to me. It's as long as they keep it with that way, where you have to wait until like the last week or two. So it really is like a completionist thing. It's not like day one you can level up to 100 instantly the way like Call of Duty is. That really forces it to be an actual encouragement to play for the first 2.5 months, and then you get the ability to fast track if you want. That works for me. I think that's fine. Maybe some people will wait and just do it all at once. It's probably gonna be like $100 to do it. They didn't give any pricing on the upgrade at the end of the season, but there's a few little details there I think people are gonna try to latch onto and sensationalize and make seem worse than they are, but that's just the way that goes. Either people are into that or they're not. Those people have found careers or have found fame, quote unquote, and essentially making things up or significantly skewing facts. So I don't know. I think the system seems fine. It seems in line with what's going on in the industry, and I really don't think anything in Division 2. I honestly don't think in Division 1 either. Any of this stuff was overly abusive or disgusting. So, everyone has an opinion. If you disagree, feel free to tell me. But overall, this is actually a really informative state of the game. I thought this one might actually be a little bit light since stuff is coming so soon. But I thought they brought it. Again, Trick Dempsey has, I've never seen a person have more enjoyment in what they do. Trick seems to just really love their job a lot. So I pretty much any of these state of the games that involve Trick, I think that you need to catch it. They really seem to enjoy what they do. It's fun, with Trick and with Thylander and with Drew and with these people who come on, like the developers, especially these last few weeks when they finally got to reveal this stuff. It's really fun to see them, Bruce and Rasmus and all of them. It's fun to watch them be so excited because they don't get excited over mundane additions to the game. They get excited over things that are their babies, and this update is obviously the baby of the entire massive team. So I'm really excited. This state of the game only helped. So yeah, good state of the game. Go check it out. I suggest it after you listen to me talk about it for 20 minutes or 8 minutes. Some Division 2 topics. See, I already talked about the free weekend sale. There's an animated Warlords trailer. They have a little animated short story for the update next week. It's kind of in the style a little bit. I don't really know how to describe it. If you've seen the Apex Legends animated shorts, it's a very, very similar style of that. It's really cool. It's definitely worth checking out. You can tell they're trying to kind of explain some of the motivations of all the of his 4 lieutenants that you're going to be taking down. They're definitely going to try to make at least some of those lieutenants kind of sympathetic enemies. So I'm interested to see how they roll that story in. I will say we've now seen our like 4th version of Keener in the last couple weeks. For some reason, this animated Keener has the worst beard I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. It's a weird stylistic choice, but I'm not an animator, so go check it out for yourself and let me know what you think. There was a post yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday night, so on Tuesday, the official account posted a like a GIF of the Bighorn exotic assault rifle, and well, here I go causing trouble again without meaning to. I replied to the tweet, said, "This is how you do exotics. It's got, you know, it's not silly looking. It's got a wood stock. It's a Steyr AUG, if you know what kind of game that is, what kind of gun that is. If you played like the old Rainbow Six games, you should be familiar with this gun. It was like my favorite gun in the original Rainbow Six, or even in the Vegas games as well." And then that apparently upset some people. So if you haven't listened to the podcast before, I hate the Diamondback. I despise that stupid toy snake wrapped around this gun, and it's the fact that the gun is such a good gun too, but just the aesthetic of this thing just drives me nuts. I'm actually not a big fan of the Eagle Bear either. I think that gun is just ugly as sin. I don't know. I'm just so boring. Maybe I don't enjoy the flair added to these things. But I think this Bighorn looks cool. I love the Steyr AUG. It's got this big like extended barrel on it. It's got a 12x scope on top, which is a little silly. Then it has a canted scope on the side, like a hollow sight, or like a short, like a 2x sight, which is mounted all the way on the side. I don't know. Thylander tweeted about it, said that there's a reason it's like that. I suspect it's something to do with how the gun talents work on this exotic, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, apparently a lot of people disagreed with me. So I found out that a lot of people like the Diamondback, the way it looks. I suspect that's maybe more in like the Destiny crowd, where their exotics are kind of in that vein of being kind of ridiculous. And apparently there were people who really dislike that there's a 12x on an AR. Okay, that's fine. I was just saying I like the fact that this thing just has a cool looking wood, some wood, you know, like a wood stock on it, and it just looks kind of like a normal gun. But apparently I stirred up some emotions over that. So, you know, is what it is. Everyone has their own opinions, I guess. But I thought it looked fine. But that's, you know, we'll see what the other exotics look like. I think it's weird to die on the hill of this fairly regular looking gun when we've got some pretty silly guns in the game. Even the bolt action exotic is the dumbest looking gun I've ever seen. The base gun is fine, but then it's got all these goofy electronics all over it that just don't make any sense. But you know, whatever. I'll pick my battles. The final thing is that they made the big whoop of Kinley College, the expedition reopening. That's cool. If people haven't done it yet, I think it's worth doing once. The little story it tells, the little side story you find, and the environments are gorgeous. The environments of Kinley College genuinely are great. They just need to leave this thing open all the time. It's kind of frustrating because they kind of play it up like it's like, oh, everyone brace yourselves, Kinley College is open, only for it to be what I would consider the most boring content in the game, and the least replayable. They even added this new system where you can like time your runs and get extra rewards. I messed with it for a minute and just, it's not that interesting. It's, to me, of course, I always have to remember to make very clear I'm expressing my opinion and not telling you what you should think. In fact, if you disagree with me, please let me know. I'll be happy to discuss it. But yeah, this kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like, I hate the word cringy, but it is almost like cringy where they kind of make like, oh, everyone, Kinley College is back open, school's open for the summer. Like, no. No. But hey, if you haven't done it yet, I do advise everyone to go play the expedition once. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth checking out. Get your diamond back, get some loot. If you need like materials, it's actually a really good spot for that, I think, because there's material boxes everywhere. So there may be some use there, but I just kind of wish they would maybe roll back the hype just a bit. But you know what I won't roll back is this mid-roll. No, okie dokie. So in community topics, the main one I noticed this week was on the subreddit. There was someone pointing out some actors that could play Keener in the upcoming Division movie. So the Division movie, I don't think they've even started shooting it yet. I know that. So it's Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain are the leads. The director is from John Wick. He did. What else did he do? He did Deadpool 2, which I actually really like. Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 made me super excited for the Division movie, because I really loved the way the action was. It was kind of emotional. It was a really cool movie, and so it gave me a lot of faith. Now the Netflix thing kind of worries me. If you don't know already, the movie's going straight to Netflix. And Netflix has had some good movies come straight to them. They put tons of money into projects that are exclusive to them. So, we've got a good director. We've got the writer. I forget. Someone told me who some other projects the writer did, and they were awesome. And then Jessica Chastain, I love her. She's great. And Gyllenhaal has done some really cool movies. He's been a little hit or miss, but I think he's good for this. And what I'm speculating is I actually think Gyllenhaal is going to play Keener. And I'm wondering, I kind of hope that the movie shows right before the crisis happens and the crisis unfolding and the agents being activated, and shows both of their journeys. And it's something where like Chastain and Gyllenhaal are in the same company or squad. And it shows him get screwed over and turn, and then her and him square off in some way, and then they go from there. I think that would be cool. I also think it'd be really cool if the movie maybe delves into like how they got selected, the secret training. If you read some of the books and the lore books and stuff, it talks about how like they get selected and then they go on like business trips where they have to like cover up their training to learn how to use all this crazy tech. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I've tried to hold back my hype about the movie until I hear they're shooting. Once I find out that they're actually shooting and they've got people on set and things are happening, then I'll be excited. But until then, because then the movie's probably coming within a year or so once they start shooting. Until then, I'm gonna kind of hold back because I'm not super. You just never know with these things. We have a couple listener questions this week. We have M88 on Twitter asked, what will happen to the story missions in DC if you start a level 30 agent in New York? They say you can't go to DC when you start Warlords. Clearly DC events first before Warlords. What I suspect is that's just going to be some video game magic where you start your engine, or you start your new engine, you start your agent in New York, you play through that whole story, and then when you go back to DC, it just probably basically like sends you quote unquote like back in time, and you go through and do the regular story. Now you'll do it at level 30. So the other possibility is that you get sent back to DC, and you get sent back to DC as an agent that completed everything before you ever like before you went to New York. So you can go play all the missions, but it's gonna be more like you have a level 30 character. It'll be 40, but it'll be the same as like everyone else who actually plays through 1 to 30, then goes to New York and comes back. I suspect that they're gonna do it where it's gonna be like you already did everything, so everything's just gonna be available to your agent, so like they won't have to play through the 1 to 30 again. That I think is more likely. So I don't think they're gonna jack up the story or try to have some weird explanation for it. More than likely, it's just you're just gonna have a level 40 character and everything's gonna be completed. Then Kakarot says, who is Angela Woods in the Division 2? What is her role in the game, and will we see her again? Yeah, so Angela Woods is the engineer that you help in at Roosevelt Island, who is being attacked by the Outcast when you're there. I don't know. I suspect she's just kind of another throwaway character, if you want me to be totally honest. The one guy I actually think we may run into again is that jerk that we saved in one of the side missions, and then he screws us over in the like the northeast part of the map, where we help him recover some data or something, and then he locks us in the basement and we get attacked. I actually think that is someone who's going to come back around, because he had some connections, I think, to the LMB or to the Black Tusk or something. So I don't know. I think there's a bunch of little side characters that we basically just never see again, which is kind of a bummer, because I think there's some place for that to be kind of cool, but you know, we take what we can get in this game. So I'm actually going to wrap it up there. I'm recording this pretty late at night. There isn't a lot more to talk about. Again, I'll be streaming on Tuesday, first thing in the morning. Basically, I hope as soon as they open up the servers, I'll be on, and we're going to go kill us a Keener. So check me out over on twitch.tv/BondDiesel. If you can, please take a moment to rate this podcast on whatever platform you listen to it on. If you watch on YouTube, please make a comment, give me a thumbs up, obviously sub the channel and ring-a-ding that bell. If you listen on any podcast platform that lets you rate and make a comment, please do. I love reading those things. They're cool, and they help my podcast get promoted. If you want to support the podcast or any of my other content, please check out patreon.com/theechocast. If we hit 15 patrons, I'll get rid of the ad. And if you want some cool EchoCast or BondDiesel merch, please check out bonddiesel.live/merch. That's all I have. So until next time.